Hey, Paul, are you there? You're over at your parents' place right now, right? Could you get back over here right away?
Huh? Pardon me?
I think the baby is coming. I should head to the hospital. Could you drive me there right away?
No, can't do it.
Wait, what? Why not?
Would you just stop? I said no, for God's sakes.
Why do you just hang up? I said the baby is coming. I'm having contractions.
Stop bothering me. I'm not going to no hospital.
How could you say that, Paul? Do you realize what this means? If I don't go to the hospital right now, the baby will be in danger.
Just call a darn taxi. You can use your phone still, right?
Call a cab? Are you serious? It's your child that's about to be born. How could you even say that? Why are you being so cold? I can't do this alone. Paul, I need someone by my side.
Damn it, you don't give up, do you? I'm too busy to deal with you right now.
Don't tell me that Kathy is also having contractions. I remember her delivery date was about the same time as mine. I realize you're worried about your younger sister, but I'm in the same situation here, and you're my husband. Why do you ignore me and give priority to your younger sister? She's got her husband to look after her, doesn't she? Get your mom and dad to help out and work something out, would you? You don't all have to be over there. I mean, use common sense, Paul. This is nuts.
I said no way. Call a cab.
Paul, you stole my purse, didn't you?
Huh? What now?
I was getting ready to go to the hospital by cab and checked my bag, and my purse was nowhere to be found.
Oh, yeah. I was on my way to take Kathy to the hospital, and I realized I didn't have any money for a cab.
So you took my money? Are you serious?
Now, how the heck am I supposed to get to the hospital? Get this through your thick skull, Trish. I'm not going to the hospital for you. I made up my mind a long time ago that if Kathy's baby came the same time as yours, I would give her priority over you.
You cannot be serious.
What's wrong with giving your family members priority over a stranger? You had the gall to have your baby at the same time as her. You have no right to be griping on and on about this, so give it up.
Paul, I think I'm going into labor. The water.
Come on, Trish. Forget the cab. Just have the baby in the bathtub or something. Figure it out yourself. And Trish, don't make a mess.
Paul, Trish here. It was a boy. My neighbor, Carol, helped me out and took me to the hospital. I don't know what I would have done without her.
You have got to be kidding me. You had to impose on your neighbor?
I had no other choice. I had no money for a cab. I could hardly walk, for God's sake. Carol has kids, so she knows exactly how I felt and knew exactly what to do. Without her help, I don't know what would have happened. Once I'm back from the hospital, and if you have time, please thank her.
I can't believe you. We need to be on good terms with our neighbors. Don't go giving our neighbors a hard time, would you?
Hey, Paul, when are you coming to the hospital? I mean, you could at least pay one visit. I know you're all worried about your sister, but you're a father now. Don't you even want to see your son? As a father, that's the least you can do.
Sorry, but I just can't do that right now. Kathy wants me by her side. I just can't leave her. After giving birth, she's really drained of strength, not to mention her emotional state. No, I'm going to stick by her side until it gets better.
By the way, where the hell is Kathy's husband? Shouldn't he be there?
Pardon me?
I know she's there at your parents' place, but she lives just down the street. Shouldn't her husband be there by now? Shouldn't he be the one by her side?
Oh, yeah. Didn't I tell you? Guess not. She got divorced about a month ago.
Wait, what? She got divorced?
It seems that jerk was impotent, which meant that the kid wasn't his.
Am I hearing you right? That's crazy.
Well, it is what it is. So letting her have a kid all alone with nobody to rely on, it just seemed cruel, you know? As her big brother, I made up my mind to comfort her any way I could.
Hold on a second. I heard that Kathy was in the VIP room at this very hospital. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right. Don't go complaining that you had to stay in one of those rooms with several other patients. I'm not in the mood to hear that.
Relative to what you were saying, I sort of think that Kathy's husband would be demanding compensation for, it seems obvious. She's not exactly well off with that hanging over her head. How could she afford to stay in a VIP room?
Yeah, well, I paid for all that.
You cannot be serious, Paul. We can't afford to pay the hospital fee for 2 women. Are you nuts?
So you saying I should just dump on Kathy, huh? My little sister?
No, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that I wish you would have talked to me before making such a decision. Just think of our financial situation. There's no way we could afford to put her up in a VIP room.
Quit yapping on about what's already been done. What's the use? If you keep this crap up, Trish, I may even think about divorcing. You don't want that, do you?
Pardon me?
You're the one that's gonna pay the price if that happens. You have no parents or siblings to fall back on.
That's a low blow, Paul. Even for you.
Anyway, why'd you even have to get pregnant? Just my little sister was plenty. We don't need any more kids in this world. This whole mess is all your fault. Why'd you have to go and get pregnant?
What you just said, I hope you don't regret it.
All the wife has to do is obey her husband. Can you at least do that? Kathy just woke up. Let's cut this short, shall we? See ya.
Hey Trish, how are you? Congratulations. Thanks for giving us a grandson.
Dad, wow, it's been so long. How have you been? Yeah, not bad.
Sorry to contact you out of the blue like this. I got your line ID from your friend Carol, your neighbor. Nice girl, by the way.
Yeah, she's great. She told me all about it. She's the one that got in contact with you, right?
Yes, that's right. It was by pure chance that I was told about your situation.
Chance?
You talked to Carol about me before, right?
Come to think of it, I did mention you when we were talking about family. You know, with the baby coming and all.
Well, she remembered my name and it apparently rang a bell, so she checked me out. And it turned out that I was the president of the company she was working for. She couldn't believe it at first, but she verified the family ties and got in contact me through the company intranet system.
Whoa, wait, back up. You're the president of a company now?
Yes, but it's only happened about 2 weeks ago. I'm really sorry I didn't contact you for so long. As you know, Mom and I divorced some time back. Fortunately, it was amicable. The main reason we got supported was basically because we were both workaholics, lol. After the divorce, I went overseas on business for almost 3 months, and we sort of lost touch. I didn't know she passed away until Carol told me about it. I felt terrible.
I see. I had no idea.
I really wish I was here. Maybe I should have stayed married to her, just separated.
You don't have to feel guilt over that. Mom knew how busy you were. and how much your work meant to you. Knowing Mom, that's probably why she didn't contact you. She's always sent me financial support through the years and insisted that I give you enough breathing space, so you can work to your heart's desire.
That's heartening to hear. Thanks for that, Trish. By the way, your husband, Paul, was it?
Huh? Yeah, that's right.
What do you plan on doing going forward?
Do? What do you mean?
I heard the whole situation from Carol, so you don't need to hold anything back. Tell me how you honestly feel.
Right. I suppose I'm leaning toward divorce. He gives his younger sister priority over me and the verbal abuse that I get. To be honest, I worry about our future together. Fortunately, I plan to return to work once I'm back on my feet. My company is pretty understanding when it comes to maternity leave. When I think about that, divorce seems the better option.
Okay, I understand. Then why don't we do this? Give me a bit of time to verify a few things.
Verify a few things? Like what?
When do you get released from the hospital?
Well, if all goes well, I should be out of here by next Wednesday.
Alright then. I'll contact you by then and we can work things out. Be patient, okay?
Not sure what you're up to, Dad, but yeah, okay.
Hey, Trish, are you there? Is that true about your dad? Is this some kind of joke? You never told me he was the president of that major corporation. Why didn't you mention this before we got married? How could you leave out such an important piece of information? Are you totally daft, Trish?
He contacted me just last week. It was the first time I heard he was the president of that company. I had no idea. He was working overseas for the past 3 months and just returned last week and was promoted to president on his return.
If your father is the president of that major corporation, well, that means you're the daughter of a big shot. You're like a VIP or whatever.
Yeah, well, this only happened 2 weeks ago, so I was never a VIP or socialite or whatever.
But you are the daughter of a company president. That's a fact. What the hell is going on here? If I had known this earlier, I would have... This is not happening.
Hey, Paul, are you upset about something? You're acting real weird.
Yeah, I'm upset. How can I not be? Your father is a big investor in our company, and I mean one of the biggest.
Really, I didn't have a clue.
And his company is one of our top clients. One move, and he has the power to even bankrupt us.
Seriously, this is the first I'm hearing about this. You never mentioned your work stuff to me, so how would I know, right?
Apparently, your father contacted the president of my firm and wanted him to check out his employees. He eventually heard there was some sort of shenanigans going on. They found out that me and Kathy's work performance was, like, not up to par.
I'm just assuming here, but I bet you guys were forcing others to do your job and taking time off when you weren't permitted to.
Huh? Hold it a sec. Why do you know that?
Again, I'm just assuming, but considering your attitude toward everything, and this goes for your sister too, it just seemed like the logical thing you guys would do.
You sound like you're enjoying this. Like it's just some casual conversation or something. You realize that both Kathy and I have been transferred? And get this, we're not being transferred to the same location either.
Roger that. Don't go screwing up this time, Paul.
Roger, what? The hell do you think you are anyways? It was all your fault that we ended up in this predicament. What are you going to do about it? I went to your father's office and had a meeting with him. I got down on my hands and knees begging him to reconsider, but your father just ignored me. This whole thing wouldn't have happened if you had just told me about your father and not kept it a secret. How could you be so devious? If you'd only warned us, we'd have been able to be more careful at work.
Like I said, I haven't seen my dad in a while, and I only learned of this like 2 weeks ago. How am I supposed to tell you when I didn't even know? And for your information, I had no connection to your job. You never told me anything about where you and Kathy worked or what you did. Yeah, so maybe it was my father who checked up on your work performance. But it was you guys who abused your position. To me, it looks like you guys are the only ones that are ultimately responsible. Don't blame all this on me. And another thing, I plan to divorce you once and for all.
What? Wait, divorce?
My father introduced me to a lawyer, so he'll probably be paying you a visit sometime soon. So I would appreciate it if you would sign it.
Trish, come on. You don't want to do this.
In addition, I plan to demand compensation for emotional distress that you caused all these years, especially when our baby was born. Any court will rule in my favor. Oh, and I will be demanding the proper child support for our son. We mustn't forget that.
No, you can't do this. I have a lot on my plate now. I have to pay for Kathy's stuff, and getting pushed out and transferred to some branch office somewhere means a reduction in pay. Taking money from me now? Your timing is impeccable, Trish.
Take money, huh? Isn't that what you did to me? When I went into labor, you stole my purse. Didn't you take money from me then? You left me there to suffer in pain because I had no money for a cab. If Carol hadn't been there to help, I could have died.
I need the money to take Kathy to the hospital. What can I say?
That's your problem, Paul. That behavior, that thought process, whatever you want to call it, that's what's screwed about you.
But the fact remains that I don't have any money.
Looks like this is going to go on into an endless loop, so let's cut it short.
But...
Oh yeah, one more thing. You and Kathy probably didn't realize this, but your mom and dad are both on my side with this.
Pardon me?
When Kathy went into labor, your folks went straight to the hospital with her, as any parent would. They only found out that I was all alone at the hospital was when they got home that night. They were furious for the way you acted towards your wife. They apologized profusely. Your mom was on the verge of tears. I ended up comforting her. They were overjoyed that I had reunited with my father and agreed to the divorce without complaint.
Are you really serious?
From now on, I want you to go through my lawyer. Anything you need, just contact them. Please don't contact me directly anymore. You got that, Paul?
Trish, you can't do this.
Goodbye. My son and I moved into my father's spacious condo downtown. On the day I was to be released from the hospital, my in-laws helped me escape without Paul or Kathy getting wind of it. They also helped in convincing Paul into agreeing to a one-time payment for damages and for child support. In return, I promised them that I would allow them to visit their grandson on occasion. I made sure I no longer had any contact with either Paul or his sister Kathy. I later heard that Kathy resigned from the company due to where she was being transferred to, and that she wanted to be with her brother. She blamed Paul for their downfall and insisted that her big brother take care of her as she stayed home with her child. That brother and sister relationship is a bit too bizarre for me. I heard the three of them went living at Paul's apartment somewhere up north. Most of the neighbors think that they are a family. I find it hard to believe that they even have any friends.
Hannah! What on earth were you thinking?
Huh? What's up, sis? Is something wrong?
Is something wrong?
Oh, I see. It's your wedding anniversary next month, isn't it? There's a really good cake shop newly put up near the station, so let me give you guys a present next month.
You're always so kind and thoughtful, aren't you? I used to be so proud of you, but now Now you're just a little backstabber.
Whoa, hold on. Seriously, what's going on? I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're having an affair with my husband, aren't you? Dan finally confessed to me about it.
Huh?
Do you care to explain yourself? Why were the two of you cheating on me?
Oh, I see. Dan told you everything, did he? Well, I guess there's no point in me hiding it anymore. As Dan told you, we're dating.
Wow, I didn't expect you to admit to it so easily.
Why not? I mean, we've already been dating for about 6 months.
I can't believe you would get involved with your own sister's husband like that. Do you have any idea what you've done?
Oh, please don't misunderstand me. I may have chosen to date Dan, but it has nothing to do with him being your husband.
What are you saying?
I'd still be dating Dan regardless of whether he was your husband or not. No matter whose husband he was, I'd take Dan from anyone.
Is this supposed to be you saying how much you like Dan?
Rather than liking him, how about loving him? I don't think there's anyone who's a more perfect match for me.
You can't be serious.
I mean, Dan's just such an amazing person. His yearly income is $140,000 and he works for a top-class trading company. Until recently, I had thought he was just an ordinary office worker. But he really is the person who knows most often says least kind of guy, isn't he?
You've got to be joking.
He has a great job and salary. He's truly a worthy husband for me. He's wasted on such a plain-looking girl like you, sis.
Are you serious? So he's too good for me? But you're perfect for him. Is that it?
Yep, exactly. Dan deserves someone like me as his wife. Don't you think?
No! Are you serious?
After all, I did come first place in a beauty pageant during college. I'm super popular at work, and there's no shortage of guys who want me. Of course, I can do my job too, which makes me smart. Someone as perfect as me is clearly the superior choice.
You would be perfect, if it weren't for your non-existent morals.
Yet even so, Dan says that he loves me. I'm sorry that I have to tell you this, sis, but Dan even told me he was sick of seeing your ugly face.
How dare he?
An ugly, unremarkable girl. Or a beautiful, perfect girl. Anyone would choose me, don't you agree? So cheer up, sis. There's nothing to feel down about.
I thought we were always close, but I guess that's what you've always thought of me.
Anyway, you should divorce Dan as soon as possible so I can marry him.
Hannah has been pushing me to divorce you. She didn't even apologize for what she did. I told you. We're in love with each other. You and I have no choice but to divorce now. But getting divorced right after putting your mother in a nursing home? As your wife, I have supported both you and your mother financially. But I guess that after getting all of that money out of me, I can just be discarded, huh? Oh, come on. Putting her in a nursing home is a complete coincidence. I just happened to run into your beautiful sister once again right after putting my mother in that nursing home. Since then, we've been able to date without any problems. Yeah, what a coincidence. I haven't been able to stop thinking about how beautiful she is ever since you introduced me to Hannah way back when. But I never thought that I would ever get to date her. And the fact that you're willing to let us marry is the best. It seems that whatever I say is pointless. Fine then. If you love each other that much, I'll agree to the divorce. Really? However, I need you to pay me back everything that you owe me. That includes my share of the assets, as well as properly compensating me with a settlement. Oh, come on. That much is to be expected, right? Once you've paid it all back, I'll divorce you right away.
Listen, sis, I already heard from Dan. He said that because you two are still arguing about the settlement, you haven't divorced yet.
Yeah, Dan is hesitant to pay me back. Since you'll need money for your new life together, he says that he can only pay me back $7,000.
Okay, well, how much exactly did you spend supporting him?
$35,000.
$35,000? You're gonna take that much money from Dan? Even when he already spent $14,000 supporting me?
It's bad enough he cheated on me, but within my own family? My emotional pain is just that great.
Here we go. You just want to squeeze as much money out of him as possible, don't you? Especially since Dan earns $140,000 a year.
What are you talking about?
Even though you're already getting more than enough from the assets alone, you want an additional $35,000 in settlement money? I never knew you were so greedy, sis.
This isn't me being greedy, it's just what's fair.
Fine, whatever. $35,000 will be enough for you to divorce Dan then. I'll try to convince him to pay you back. I'll tell him that he doesn't need to worry about the future and to just pay your settlement as soon as possible.
Oh, you'll really help me?
Of course! If I don't, I won't be able to marry him no matter how long I wait.
That's a big help. As long as he agrees to pay back what he owes me, I can even submit the divorce papers today.
A $35,000 settlement is nothing as long as I can marry Dan. I'll be living in his high-rise condo thanks to his yearly salary of $140,000. And even if he has no savings, that's more than enough to live on.
What do you mean? Living in a high-rise condo?
Yep. Once I marry Dan, we're gonna move into your high-rise condo together. Move out as soon as you submit the divorce papers, okay?
Seriously?
I can't wait to live in the top floor of a high-rise condo. I still remember how I felt when I saw it for the first time. It's unforgettable.
Just hold on a minute. I don't recall you ever visiting our house. Are you sure you aren't mistaken?
Oh, you probably don't know. You were sick in bed with a fever that day.
You've got to be kidding me.
Since we had way more Christmas desserts than we needed, so Mom asked me to give you some. But to think that you were living in the top floor of a high-rise condo. I was so surprised.
Ah, I see.
But since you were in bed with a fever, it was Dan who opened the door for me. So invigorating. It was love at first sight.
Hold on a minute. You aren't seriously saying that that's when you two started dating?
I just slipped in quietly and enjoyed some tea together with him. Then, as I was leaving, he confessed how he felt about me.
You've got to be kidding me. While I was in bed sick with a fever. I can't believe you two did that in my home.
Well, that place will be ours soon anyway. Then I shouldn't have to worry about anything.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Dan already told me. He paid you the $35,000 settlement right away, just like I told him to.
Wow, already?
Check your account. It just shows how soon he wants to marry me. He's not interested in you at all anymore.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's more fitting for someone beautiful like me to live with such a high-earning guy in that high-rise condo. Since you're so ugly, a poor guy would be a much better match for you, sis.
His annual salary is actually less than $14,000, though.
What do you mean?
Dan has already transferred the money into my account, hasn't he? Well then, I'll submit the divorce papers right away as promised. Please enjoy your new life with your low-income husband.
Excuse me? What are you talking about? I think you missed a zero by mistake. After all, Dan earns $140,000 a year, not $14,000.
Nope, there's no mistake. Dan's annual salary is $14,000. Well, actually, it's a bit less than that.
You can't be serious. What's all this about him only earning $14,000 all of a sudden? He's a top-class trading company employee. He lives on the top floor of a high-rise condo. There's no way Dan could afford to live there on $14,000 a year.
He's far from being a top-class trading company employee. Dan's just a regular office worker.
There's no way that's true. Dan told me himself. He said that he earns about $14,000 a month. If that's his monthly income, then his annual income should be at least $140,000.
Nope. Like I said, you're mistaken. Did Dan actually say it was his monthly income? He didn't, did he?
Well,
If you don't believe me, why don't you ask him directly?
no, you must be joking. Is this your idea of getting back at me? I mean, even if he doesn't earn $140,000 a year, Dan's already in his late 30s, right? Worst case scenario, he should be earning at least $70,000 a year, right?
What on earth are you talking about?
I mean, $14,000 a year? There's no way that's true.
The thing is, Dan's mother actually has dementia. For the past few years, Dan's had an extended leave from work in order to care for her. He ended up hurting his back because of it. As a result, his time off work was extended even further.
Seriously?
In any case, he's always at home and hasn't been going to work at all. That's why his salary is so low, despite almost being 40.
But he's been living in the top floor of a high-rise condo. Even if he has low income now, he should be able to earn more than enough if he works really hard.
That condo belongs to his mother.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I eventually had to say something to him since he never went to work. Dan was furious. He flipped out and said if I was so worried about where we were going to live, then we could just go live with his mother. After that, there was really no choice but to move into his mother's high-rise condo.
You've got to be kidding me. So you're saying that that place isn't Dan's? He just lives there with his mom?
Yes, exactly. You came there the day I had a fever, right? Dan's mother finally got accepted into her desired nursing home the day before. I must have been so relieved that I suddenly fell into bed exhausted.
So that's why Dan's mother wasn't there that day.
Now, if you don't mind, please take my low-income husband. I just got to the city hall and I'm about to submit the divorce papers. It probably won't take long for the divorce to be finalized. You can probably marry Dan by the end of the day.
I could ever marry him now? With a salary of only $14,000? Plus, I won't be living on the top floor of a high-rise condo? I'm going to tell him it's over right now.
Oh, really? I don't really care either way. Make sure to have a long talk with each other. Well then, take care. Hey, Michelle. What did you say to Hannah? Out of nowhere, she's suddenly telling me that we should break up. Even though I paid you the settlement money. And even though you submitted the divorce papers. All I did was resolve her misunderstanding. Hannah decided to break up with you all on her own. What are you talking about? What kind of misunderstanding? It seems that Hannah confused your annual income for your monthly income. So I corrected her. Wait, what? She thought that your annual salary was at least $140,000. She couldn't believe that it was only a paltry $14,000. She said that there was no way that she'd marry a guy with that kind of income. Hey, you must be joking, right? I never once said anything about monthly income. I was open and honest about my situation. I was so happy when I thought she accepted me despite all that. Then what about the condo? You didn't tell Hannah about that, did you? She seemed certain that it was your place. Oh, well, about that. She was so in love with the condo that it made it difficult to tell her the truth. Looks like both you and Hannah are to blame. I can't believe it. I don't want to break up with her. We're in love with each other. Yet she wants to break up. This can't be happening. Please leave me out of your lover's quarrel. Well then, bye.
Hey, sis! Sorry for making you worry yesterday. Dan and I made up and now we're married.
Huh? You really got married?
Yep. It was thoughtless of me to dump him like that. Even if Dan's income is low, there's still a huge inheritance waiting for him.
Oh, really? What exactly are you talking about?
Well, Dan's mother. She lived in such an amazing high-rise condo, didn't she? Which means she must have a huge fortune. So it will eventually pass down to her son, aka my husband.
Is that right?
Even if Dan's income is really low, I realize that as long as we have the inheritance, we can live problem-free. That's why we got married just now.
So what you're saying is, you married Dan in order to get his mother's inheritance.
Exactly! I've become the wife of a rich man. Dan's mother is in a nursing home now, which means that she probably won't last much longer. Then that inheritance will be all ours.
How could you say something so vile? Hasn't Dan said anything about this to you?
Not one word. To be honest, he's just so happy that I came back to him.
I can't believe you two!
Since Dan's mother is in a nursing home now, the first thing we need to do is change the name on the deed. Living in my own high-rise condo. My wish has come true. It was totally the right choice to marry him.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but that room is a rental. There's no deed for you to get your grubby little hands on. So write that out of your inheritance plans.
Excuse me? It's a rental?
Yep, that's right. Dan's mother has gone senile. That's why she rented a room in the top floor of the condo all by herself.
Huh?
Dan's mother has dementia. I told you, remember? While she was still living by herself, she used up almost all of her savings to rent that condo.
She used up her savings?
She paid for a whole year's worth of rent in advance. It seems like the realtor leased out the condo to her special. Once I realized, I tried to cancel the rental agreement. However, by then everything had already been finalized, so there was no way to get the money back.
Just give me a minute. There's just no way. So, Dan's mother doesn't own that condo? Dan never once said anything about it being a rental.
Maybe he couldn't bring himself to say it. Or maybe he never planned on saying anything at all. Curious, isn't it?
Wait. Then what about the huge fortune? Where's the inheritance that Dan's supposed to get?
I mean, she did spend almost all of her savings on that condo. And as for her remaining savings and pension money, it's going to be used up paying for her caregiving. I do believe that the inheritance you were hoping for might not exist.
No way! You're lying!
Why on earth would I lie about that? Ask Dan if you don't believe me.
I'm already asking him as we speak. This can't be real. It just can't. He said that he thought if he told me that the room wasn't really his, I would never have gotten back together with him. And that's why he couldn't tell me it was really a rental.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, duh!
It seems like he was desperate to keep you from leaving.
This can't be happening. I thought I'd be living in a high-rise condo. That's why I married him. I even boasted to my friends that I married a rich man. But all along it was only a rental!
Just so you know, I think there's about 2 months left on the condo. Looks like you'll have to find another place in the next 3 months.
Are you serious? Only 2 months in my dream condo?
Make sure to enjoy your high-rise life as much as possible in the next 2 months. Well then, I wish you both a happy life. My younger sister Hannah soon told Dan that she wanted a divorce and she was going to threaten him for marrying her under false pretenses. She was really trying to force him to do it. But Dan argued that he never actually lied to her, he just didn't correct her assumptions. He kept dodging her questions, but eventually he admitted that there was no way that he'd accept a divorce. Dan promised he would work really hard to afford the apartment and that as long as he did that, she should have no reason to complain. He seems to actually be working really hard, but because of all the time off he's had, he hasn't been able to do his job well. There's a rumor that he's already on the short list of people the company might need to lay off. As for Hannah, since she already boasted about being the wife of a wealthy man, it seems that she's putting on airs so that the people around her don't find out the truth.